I am the Scotnadian, and I am going to read a story today that called Rainbow Crash and How She Got a Reading Day with Twilight Every Week by Akemi Shikima. Twilight was sitting on the library, focused on her newest book, Daring Do and the Black Crystals. It was brand new, still folded in its plastic wrap, ready to be opened. She felt butterflies in her stomach for the excitement, the same excitement she felt every time she was ready to learn and practice a new spell. Carefully, she started to open the plastic wrap, willing to unfold it, but it would have to wait. "Look out below!" That scream, that unmistakable voice producing that scream. Twilight could just snort in deep frustration without any warning. She felt the pressure of a certain furred weight on top of her back, followed by some dust falling on her nose, making her sneeze. Darting her muscle to the air, she could just let out two single words in response to this new event. "Rainbow Dash!" Rainbow could just turn her head to one side, ending face to face with a purple stare, a stare that could easily compete with Fluttershy's. Knowing herself with no escape, the Cyan Pegasus played the only card she had left. Pull a silly grin on her face from ear to ear, flatten her ears to her head, and try to play the cool "Hey, egghead." Twilight just huffed in silent protest, never breaking eye contact with her friend. Excuse me." A sheepish smile drew on Rainbow's face. Once she knew pretty well it was coming. Excuse me, get off me now!" No wasting any time on a second thought, Rainbow Dash jumped in the air for the scary shiver she got running through her neck after that cold scream from Twilight, shaking her hooves and wings for the impression. Who could have said that her best friend got such a powerful voice? It was twice stronger than Princess Luna's royal tone. "Twilight, calm down. Don't you dare try to play the cool on me, Rainbow Dash. That's not working," said Twilight while pointing at her flying friend with her right hoof. "Fifth time. This is the 5th time this week that you crash on my library. And it's just Wednesday." I'm sorry, Twilight. I swear. I'm trying a new trick, and you know how it goes," Rainbow said while landing on the floor. And just why don't you go practice to the far outskirts of Ponyville?" Twilight retorted, still the angry glare on her expression. You see, it's there's this reason, a good one. Rainbow felt her wings trembling while she was between tapping her chin on her with her hoof, scratching the back of her head, and caressing one hoof with the other, feeling Twilight's merciless glare over her, waiting for the answer. The door of the library cracked open, saving Rainbow, or at least that's what she thought. Oh, hey, it's Twilight. Oh, how do you do, Dash?" Pinkie Pie entered the library, bouncing like always, with a helmet on her head. "Hi, Pinkie," answered the unicorn in a deep tone, never breaking the cold glance she gave over the Pegasus. "Hey, Pinks." That was the only Rainbow Dash could manage to utter, never losing eye contact with Twilight. Always flattened and ears and twitching wings. Her nerves betrayed her, for she knew this time she had gone just too far. "Wow, Ash, I knew you would crash at Twilight's library, but I never knew you would do such a mess." "Wait, what?" That was Twilight's shock speaking for her. Now both Twilight and Rainbow turned to see Pinkie while their eyes grew triple their size. Twilight for the confusion, Rainbow, on the other hand, started to freak out. A panic attack overcame her the mere moment she turned to see her pink friend, shaking desperately into their begging face, trying unsuccessfully to make Pinkie Pie shut her muzzle. Too late. Pinkie Pie, you knew Rainbow Dash would crash down on the library. How did you know it? Your pinky sense? And why the hey are you wearing a helmet? Of course not, silly filly. I knew all along she would totally do that. That's why the helmet. Pinkie gave 3 taps with her hoof at the helmet on her head to emphasize her answer. She had planned it since 2 weeks ago, and she would ask me for help so she could catch your attention, and then she could ask you a big bright question. By the way, Dash, did you ask her yet? Pinkie finished her monologue with a huge smile on her face. Feeling defeated, Dash just answered frustrated on a low voice to her pink friend while pinching her nose with her hoof. No, Pinkie Pie, I haven't asked her yet. Oh well, I'll leave you to so you can ask her. Pinkie Pie disappeared bouncing through the library's entrance, leaving a confused unicorn and a really embarrassed Pegasus behind. Both stood there in complete silence. Rainbow didn't dare to talk or face her friend. Twilight blinked twice before she could shoot her mouth and break the silence. So, what's the story, Rainbow? And I want the truth now, was the last Twilight said. No, there was no escape. Rainbow had to talk. Whether she wanted it or not. So, she just left escape a single sign protest, her head hanging to the floor, her eyes averted to whatever Well, I suppose there's no point in hiding it any longer. I doubt so. Okay, thing is, I kinda crashed on purpose on your house. Kind of, was Twilight's almost apathetic answer while watching the mess around. Okay, I did it on purpose. You happy now? This was Dash's defeated scream. Now it was not just the embarrassment speaking for her, but her frustration. All that planning, well-done calculations, mental practices, and the way she'd pictured it on her head, how she would raise it to a unicorn head. Friend, for nothing. I pretty much got that clear, but what I really want to know is why did you do all that? Twilight fixed her eyes on her friend. The anger was gone, replaced with confusion, and something she couldn't define at that moment. This new question sent a shiver down Rainbow Dash's back. She knew her friend would lecture her, and probably she would vanish from the library and prohibit the entrance from it for at least half of her life. But along with this back shiver came a sensation of butterflies in her stomach, thanks to Twilight's voice full of concern and sweetness. With that, she got the nerve to keep talking, yet ears and voice low as always, and her wings still shaking a little on her sides. So, after a deep breath, she spoke. I was trying to look casual, so no pony would wonder why I came over here. I need to ask you if I could borrow your Daring Do books, but I don't want any pony to mock me about the whole reading thing, or think that I'm an egghead now, and all that. No offense, Twilight. I mean, you're awesome in that way, and it totally suits you, because you're pretty smart and all. You think fast, and you know a lot of things, and I would never use it on you like an insult. And you're Princess Celestia's star student. Princesses' students are supposed to know tons of stuff, but for a pony like me, that is always on the race and all. They always assume that I'm just too dense and half-brained to do that sort of thing. Just like with the feelings of the girly things. I'm not girly frou-frou like Rarity, but I do like to look good sometimes, just like at the gala. It can get pretty annoying once you piece everything together, The last part came out of Rainbow's throat with a broken tone, like she was about to start crying. Then silence came again. But just because Twilight was thinking hard on one hoof, she saw the clear hurt on Dash's face. That sad And the look was something she never saw on Rainbow Dash before. Since she met her, at least. That deep, sensitive side of the Cyan Pony was something she'll never let anyone see. Maybe because of her self-pride, or maybe, just maybe, because that way she was protecting herself. And Twilight knew that feeling very well, because on the other hoof, right now, her head recalled a similar moment of her life. That exact same feeling. The one under the back of your head that tells you no matter what you do, everyone doubts you. That memory was from the day she told her parents she was moving to Ponyville because you'd be closer to her friends. And her parents' answer was, "What friends? You've never had any friends. You're not the kind of pony to make friends." That was the most hurtful thing they have ever told her in her life. And Shining Armor noticed that, and was the only one that actually believed her statement. Her parents needed from Princess Celestia's confirmation on their daughter's new studies on friendship to believe. And then yet, they just saw it like another Princess Star student assignment. Without noticing the moment it happened, Rainbow felt a warm presence under her head. Twilight was nuzzling tenderly her head against Rainbow's neck. Dash corresponded immediately, pressing her chin on Twilight's head in the softest of ways, and wrapping a hoof under the unicorn's neck, both with a warm smile on their faces. After a minute or so, they decided to break the friendly hug to talk again, being Twilight the first to talk, and always with a sweet smile on her muzzle. "You know, you didn't have to go through all this just to come borrow the books, Rainbow. You know by first of that I would share them with you with pleasure." Now she draws a playful grin on her muzzle. "Besides, I hope you do remember this is a public library, now don't you?" "Yeah, I think I kind of forgot that." They both started to giggle. "I noticed that. Anywho, I have a proposition for you. Why don't you come here once a week and we read together? I always wanted to have somebody to read with. Besides, here I have food, the fireplace, tons of cushion, and we have everything we can need." You really mean it?" Twilight nodded happily. "Awesome!" Rainbow jumped and made some little loops for the emotion, landing back on the floor with a huge smile and flapping wings. "Now we're reading buddies!" "Just one question, Rainbow Dash. Weren't you buying the books already?" "Oh, that. Well, let's just say I ran out of bits, so I couldn't buy them anymore," she answered sheepishly, rubbing the back of her head, a thin pink hue on her cheeks. She knew the reason for her broken money saves, but again, too cool to admit the real reason. "Since which number?" "Number 3. "Oh." Both of them started to giggle again, and stopped after a few moments for the lack of air. "Well, I think I have to start cleaning up this mess. Sorry for the whole thing, Twilight." "Don't worry, Rainbow," was Twilight's answer with a warm smile on her face. Rainbow took some steps, her hoof on the messy ground, revealing the still plastic-wrapped book. She took it in her muzzle, walked up closer to Twilight, offering the book, which Twilight took in her magic grip. "I guess you're about to read it?" Rainbow caressed her left hoof with the right one. The unicorn contemplated the book for a brief moment, and then a timid smile drew its way on her face. "This one can wait till we reach it. What do you say if today we start with the first book of the series?" But what about the mess?" "Allow me." With a glow of her horn, the whole room was covered in purple magic, and turned everything back to normal. "Done." "Wow, you really are awesome, Twilight!" Rainbow Dash screamed, darting to the air just to hurt herself to hug her friend. "Thank you, Rainbow," she said with a soft voice and a little blush, regaining composure really fast. "Now, can we start?" "I'm right behind you, egghead." With that last statement, and a slow trot upstairs to Twilight's room, they started to share a new bond on their already strong friendship, just by sharing something like a book. The end. And that was Rainbow Crash by Akemi Shiikima.